All right, we're back here at Gamer Tag Radio. Lots and lots of reviews and a couple surprises coming up very soon. Tune in. But yeah, this is your host, Danny Peña, and also joining me on this special episode of Gamer Tag Radio, the one and only from the Throwdown Show, and also writer at Tom's Guide, the one and only Tony Polanco. What's up, Tony?
I'm back with another one, man. Thank you for having me on. The year of the ninja continues.
Yes, I think this is the final of the saga.
Yeah, I
Right?
believe so. Yeah, so it's appropriate that you asked me to come back, because obviously we talked about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So very appropriate that we're here for Ninja Gaiden 4.
Yeah, and I know we talked in the past other games, Streets of Rage and a couple other ones, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you're back, Tony, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. So definitely we should definitely talk about this, man. But first, we got some sad news that the creator of Ninja Gaiden, from way back, Itagaki, passed away a couple days ago, actually. So right before the release of Ninja Gaiden 4, I was like, man, the timing is just weird, right?
Yeah,
Where were
it was
you when
crazy.
you heard about it?
Like most people, I just saw it like on my news feed, because I believe they announced it like early morning Japan. So when I woke up, because I'm always checking the news, obviously, because I'm a reporter, and that's the first thing I saw. I'm like, oh, Tomonobu Itagaki passed away. And what was wild about it, not only the timing, but because we don't know what his cause of death is, but he knew his end was coming, because somebody that he trusted, posted on his behalf his final message. And it was a really good message. He was basically saying, it's like, yes, I know I've caused some trouble, and all that for some people, but I always stuck to my convictions. And he said the only thing he regretted was that he didn't get to do one more game for the fans. Like, this guy was very passionate. Like, yes, he was kind of controversial in his own way, but like when you played his games, you could tell there was a clear vision behind it. Like with Ninja Gaiden, because remember, we played the old school Ninja Gaiden, right? He didn't make those, but he brought it back. And I love how he reinvented the series, but still kept that like core challenge of it, and obviously the Ninja Gaiden that most people know today is Itagaki's Ninja Gaiden, which obviously we're going to be talking about today. He didn't have anything to do with 4, but that is part of his legacy. So yeah, very, very upsetting news. On my show, we had a little tribute to him as well, because it wasn't just Ninja Gaiden. He also did Dead or Alive, which was a amazing fighting game franchise. I still argue that his Dead or Alive games are the best ones. I know people like 5, that the game that came out right after 4, which was his last one, but to me, I'm like, those first 4, especially 2, fantastic games.
2 was amazing. 2 was really, really good. Yeah, I know he did. He worked on the volleyball game, but didn't he work on that?
He did the Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. He did those.
Yeah.
Itagaki kept the real. He's like, listen, my games are sexy and violent. This is what I like doing. I'm like, keep it real, bro.
Yeah, nah. But so a lot of people don't know about this, but 17 years ago, I had him on the show. Like, I had an opportunity to interview him. It was only like one question, but hey, it was something, and it was for Ninja Gaiden 2. For those who don't know, Ninja Gaiden 2 was an Xbox 360 exclusive. So Xbox and Team Ninja always have that relationship, even from the original launch of Xbox, with Ninja Gaiden, and also the launch of Dead or Alive for that console too. So I'm gonna play it here on the show, because I think it's a great way for us to pay respects, pay homage to a legend, and we're gonna play it right now.
前作を開発された時にね、こうハードのパワーがね不足したりして、やりたいことができないような制限がまずあったのかどうかで、もしあったとしたらそれが今となって360となってできるようになったんでしょうか。
忍法だよね。前作の忍法っていうのは。
Yeah, there are tons of those kind of things. I think one of the biggest ones is the Nimpo magic attacks. This was something I felt really strong about even since the first game, because a ninja's magic should be impressive and should be powerful. And I told the team that I wanted them to use every resources they could in the first game to achieve that. But I think we can all agree that while they're okay, they didn't reach their full potential. I even said even though our game runs at 60 frames a second, even back then, I told them that you could make it 30 frames a second only during the Nimpo, just so we have extra machine power to work with. And even despite that, we couldn't get it where we wanted. So now the 360 in Ninja Gaiden 2 is allowing me to create Nimpo in the way I originally envisioned, and that's really thrilling for me.
今回できてあともう一つハードコアゲーマーにとって重要な情報
Another thing that the power of the 360 has allowed us to do is with the AI routines. In fact, we have a feature, as you're no doubt aware, where you can lop off enemies' body parts. But we're not just doing it as a visual element or to say, hey, look, we can do this, here's some violence for you. We're tying that directly into the gameplay, because when an enemy has been dismembered, their AI routine completely changes. And this can be justified in a psychological sense by saying, if they are injured, they no longer can really survive as a warrior, so they become much more desperate. They no longer worry about protecting themselves. They're going to come after you with full strength. So an enemy that's lost a body part is actually going to be a more formidable and a scarier opponent than one that's fully functional. But AI routines are one of the most processor intensive of all of the routines that we have going at one time. So having the 360 enabled us to have the enemy's AI changing depending on the situation, how they're injured.
さっていうものをもたらしたのもこれで
So I think you've all seen the desperate attack of the enemy when he grabs you and uses a bomb and blows himself up. But you should know that that's not the only one. So be wary when you actually do start playing the game.
1個じゃないからねもう大変なことになるから気をつけてください
All right, so Tony, the question that I asked him, because I know you watched the video,
Yeah.
I asked him, and shout out to also Sarathli, he also helped me out with this. I asked, does the Xbox 360 remove the restrictions you had with the original Xbox in the making of Ninja Gaiden? If so, what were those limitations that restricted you from making the Ninja Gaiden that you had envisioned? So when you play 2 compared to 1, graphically looks different. Playable a little bit different too. Camera was a little bit better than the original too, man. But it was interesting hearing his answer after I asked that question. So what are your thoughts about the short interview before we go to the review?
Yeah, no, it was cool because I liked how, like, when the original Xbox came out, that was like I think it was the most powerful console of that time, right? But it still had its limits. So, it was cool that you asked him what was the 360 able to do, and he said it's like, they had to, like, when you use your ninja magic in the Xbox version, they had to lower the frame rate to 30. But with the 360, it's just 60 frames the whole time. I know he was very, very insistent that this game needs to be 60 frames a second because there's so much action going on. So I enjoyed that. And then he also dropped a bit about how, because in most games, if you like disable an enemy, right, like they're not as dangerous anymore. But it's like, no, if you cut off a limb, the enemy's going to be more dangerous, and I think that's like more realistic. It's like, when you got an animal that's like, in a corner and stuff and it doesn't have anywhere else to go, it's like, it's going to lash out even harder. So the enemies are like that, man. So yeah, that was really cool. And again, even when you see the interview, like the typical Itagaki style, he's just chilling, laid back with his sunglasses on,
Jacket, and always with a
nonchalant,
jacket.
always with
Yeah.
the jacket,
Yeah.
so that was really cool insight into like how he was able to transcend the limitations of the original Xbox on the 360. So that was dope.
Yeah. No, shout out to Xbox for giving me the opportunity way back in the days. And I wish I had an opportunity to meet him at these events like E3, but I never got the opportunity at all, man. So that was the closest right there, So let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 4, man. How hype were you when you heard the announcement about Ninja Gaiden 4 coming back? Because 3 wasn't a great way how to end the series, like it wasn't good at all, 3. But I really enjoy 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were, classic, obviously. Yeah, like you, I didn't really like 3, but enough time had passed between now and 3 where I was excited. Like if they would have announced 4, like maybe a year or 2 after 3, I'm like, we'll see about that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
so not only did we get that, but we had Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, so I was already in that like Ninja Gaiden mindset. But no, I was pretty excited about it. And now obviously having played and completed the game, it's like it lived up to the hype. There was just a little bit of trepidation because I was like, is this going to be another 3? You know, because I know some people were like, oh, there's a new protagonist. How's that going to work? I wasn't really worried about that. I was more worried like, is this going to be more like 3? But I think this game does a really good balance of like, you know, being difficult but not being too crazy. And there's also like accessibility modes and stuff if you just want to enjoy it. But no, I was pretty excited for it, and it lived up to the hype, man. So what did you think? Were you like really hyped going into it?
Oh yeah, I was always hype. I wasn't really too picky. Like I know a lot of people were picking about the new character, the way how you play. Some people thought it was going to be too easy and a bunch of other stuff. I really don't care. I didn't really care about that at that time because I saw the trailer. I got excited. I'm like, oh man, the Return of Ninja Gaiden. Plus, hearing that Platinum Games was also part of this project, I'm like, oh man, Platinum, come on, you know
Yeah.
it's going to be sick, you know. So I'm glad that they decided, Ninja Gaiden decided to do that, to work with another studio, also partner with them to create. I think this is a up there with 1 and 2. I find it better than those 2 games, actually, in my opinion, because
Mm,
there was a lot of new stuff in there. I found it very, like, it was a lot of fun. It was challenging. It wasn't, I think the video that a lot of people got to see during the preview, that's like the first few stages. Of course, it's going to be easy, but later in the game, bro, that game is no joke. Plus, when you finish a game, you unlock other things too. Like you unlock the highest difficulty, Master Ninja.
yeah.
There's also leaderboards there. You can see, how other people are doing around the world. You can see your friends in there too. Compete. 'Cause that's the thing I love about Ninja Gaiden Black. Back in those days, they added leaderboard to compete with other people. Like that was really cool to see. So adding that in this game, all that I think made the package a lot better than the previous ones. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause the first one, you finish it and you're done, right? And then they re-released Black, which they added the leaderboards and the, I think, extra harder difficulty too. I can't
Yeah.
quite remember. But with this one, they have all that in there. Plus the new character, you could also play Hayabusa when you unlock it to try out like the bosses that you finish from the beginning to the end. You also have like the trials or whatever, to compete with other people like that. I feel like this seems like a better package in my opinion than the previous games.
Yeah, and I like the way you phrase that, better package. I agree with that because I still have a like very like I don't want to. Yeah, I guess soft spot in my heart for Ninja Gaiden 2. Like as I'm playing this, I still like personally. I like 2 better, but I agree this is a better game, better package because you get it
Mhm.
all and you get 2 characters, which I think is really cool. And Yakumo, I like him as a character. I liked his weapon sets. It's like they're really clever weapons, and they kind of in my opinion, every weapon is better than the last one. You keep getting all these new weapons.
Mhm.
So that was really dope. And you really felt the Platinum Games influence. It's like a perfect marriage of like the controls of like Team Ninja and Platinum Games. So that was a very smart thing. It's just everything's just so smooth and seamless. And yeah, if the game is not hard enough for you, you can do Master Ninja. There's also like a training mode, which I think is really good. You could try different combos and everything.
Mhm.
And I also enjoy how the game, even though it does have a story, like it's very minimal. It really just wants to keep you in the action, man. So that's really dope. And I wanted to say this because the main thing that kind of kept going through my head as I'm playing this, I'm like, yo, I miss these type of games because in the last, I want to say 10 years, action games have more or less like games like Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. They've kind of taken a back seat to Souls like games. Games
Mhm.
that are more based on like the From Software thing. Those games are fine, but I'm like, can we just have the straight up, skill based action games like this? So I'm hoping that this game does well, so we get a resurgence of that. Again, I love the Souls games, obviously, but I'm like, we need to go back to the original form because those games have a little bit too much going on in them sometimes. Like with
Mhm.
all the like this is just simple, pure action. And that was the main thing. I'm like, yo, I hope this brings back a maybe we'll get a Devil May Cry 6 now. Maybe we'll get
Yeah,
another
agree.
Bayonetta. You never
Mhm.
know. I miss that sort of stuff, man. But yeah, what you think of it? Like, because I know you and I we talked about this. I think it's a good place to go to it. What did you think of like Yakumo, the new character, versus like Hayabusa? Because I know some people were kind of worried about that. Me personally, I think he's great, but I want to get your thoughts, and I'll jump in with
Yeah,
that.
and you know what? You could tell the difference. Look, by the way, there's no spoilers in here.
No,
There's only going to be one thing that it's not considered a spoiler because we'll bring it up in a few minutes. But um, Yakumo, what was his name?
Y-
Yakumo.
Yakumo, yeah,
Yakumo. Yeah, there you go. So with Yakumo, I really like his style. He's a lot faster than Hayabusa. Way faster. You could even tell when you climb from wall to
yes,
wall
that
on
was the
top.
main thing. I was like, whoa,
Yeah, so with Yakumo, he's like "Tut, tut, 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 tut," right? With Hayabusa, it's like "Phoom, phoom," fast, but like a little bit slower. Plus their fighting style, Yakumo is a lot faster. You switch weapons, all that stuff. And I think Hayabusa a little bit slower, but stronger than Yakumo, right?
yeah,
So I really enjoyed, and I got used to playing Yakumo from the beginning because here's the thing, and I know we're gonna bring it up in a few minutes, but this was more of a Yakumo game than Hayabusa game, and I'm
yes,
okay with that. I'm okay with that because I see it as like more as like passing the torch, like how long Hayabusa is gonna be around, like there's gonna be other people out there too, like growing up and doing the same thing like him. Like I think I see that as more like a passing the torch type of game. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed it. It was challenging. Love his style. Love the different type of weapons you could choose. But here's the thing: I was going to ask you too,
yeah.
Tony. People brought that up that Ninja Gaiden is not known for switching weapons like this. You get what I'm saying? So, what do you have to say about that for those that are worried about that part of the game in Ninja Gaiden 4?
To me, the switching the weapons is part of what makes the game great. Like you're not just here's the thing. There are some games where it's like, oh, this weapon only works against this type of enemy. You're not restricted. If you just want to use the swords, the main swords you get at the beginning, you can play the whole game like that. But I personally enjoy just switching back and forth because
Same.
of the variety it gives you. So I don't really think that's a problem. So yes, if you want to stick to the swords, be I guess for lack of a better term, play it a more traditional style, you could do that. But
Mhm.
to me, I'm like, try everything, man. The weapon I'm not no spoilers, obviously, but the weapon I enjoyed the most, not the final weapon you
No, they
get,
can't
but
talk about the final. Can't talk about the
yeah, yeah,
final weapon.
yeah,
Yeah,
not that one, obviously, but the one you
yeah.
get right before that. I really enjoy that because it's such a versatile, interesting weapon. No spoilers here, but I'm like because like the first couple of weapons are like standard weapons that you would see in other kind of games. This one is like you kind of get two weapons in one. It's very interesting. So I'm like that's
Mhm.
kind of and then like the death animations you get for all the weapons are also very unique. So I would encourage people to try them all out. They're a lot of fun, but again. Because there are some games where it's like, okay, you can only beat this enemy with this type of weapon. I really don't like that. This game doesn't restrict you. You use whatever weapon you want whenever you want.
Yeah, it depends on your mood. Like, hey, I want to have a weapon that takes it's heavy, it's a little bit slower compared to the other weapons, but it takes a lot of damage. There's people that will like that, or there's people like, hey, I want to use something that's light but faster. It was going to take a longer time to beat that. I mean, I'm okay with that too. It all depends on your mood, and I love that you have that freedom to choose which weapons that you want. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was really cool.
Oh, and now
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now, Danny. I also like
Mhm.
how you could upgrade every single weapon. Because
Mhm.
as you fight enemies, you get like points and stuff, and you could use those points to upgrade your weapon. So it's like if let's just say you don't like the base form of your weapon, you can upgrade it, to have like more moves, more combos. I also like I'm forgetting the game now. It's kind of like a rage meter. Like you hold down the L2 button, and then like you could make your weapon have a different type of move set and stuff. It's just
Mhm.
there's so much you could do in this game. I'm not I wouldn't call myself like a pro gamer or whatever, so I'm pretty sure I wasn't able to do half the stuff you can do. But even like, if you don't have like crazy skills, you're gonna get a lot of enjoyment
Mhm.
because you get so many abilities for every weapon, and you could like sometimes switch them up mid combo and stuff. It's really clever what they did. Like you said, like you get more of a package in this game. Like even we reviewed it and we're like, yo, there's still more stuff we're discovering as we're playing it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of depth to it.
Tony, I was gonna ask you, I think, reading what people were saying about the game based on the previews that they got to see before we got the review copies. I think a lot of people are not afraid, but they don't like change. They're used to playing the old way, the way that how we loved it back in 17 years ago, when Ninja Gaiden 2, let's just say, right? Because three was whatever. But two
Yeah.
was like the top one, right? And I think a game like that doesn't work in 2025. You need to do something new to make it better. And plus, it will bring a lot of new people to get into the genre too. But if you keep it the same, the same thing from back in the day where it doesn't allow new people for newcomers to come in and play the game, I think that will hurt the genre, and it will hurt the game too because of that. So the way how they do it, how they develop this game, I feel like they have like stuff for like the hardcore fans that love the old way, right? But also newcomers too. So I love that balance, So that's how I feel about this. How about you?
Yeah, no, there's something I told you, before we were preparing for this, and this might be a little controversial.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if the entire game was Yakumo. Like he's such a strong character and stuff. And like you said, we already had games with Hayabusa in him. He doesn't always need to be the main guy. So I'm
Hmm.
fine with the new character. But I would still say, just in case people were worried, this isn't like the old God of Wars versus the new God of Wars. They're very different type of games. This is still fundamentally Ninja Gaiden. The main thing is like, the new character and the new weapon sets and slightly different kind of moves, but this is still a very fast-paced action game. So I don't think people should be worried too much. But like you said, they just kind of get like that because they don't want to change. I'm like, this isn't as big of a change as you expect. This is still Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. Now, if this game had a different name that is not Ninja Gaiden 2, do you think you would have felt the same way? Would this type of game attract you like, hey, let me check this out. This game looks cool. Because
Yeah.
that's a problem. Like, I think the name got everybody's attention because it's Ninja Gaiden is so well known, right? But if it had like a totally different name that has nothing to do with Ninja Gaiden, you think you would have been playing it?
I think I would have, what I would have been saying to myself would have been like, "Yo, this is Ninja Gaiden, bro." Like
Yeah.
that because it
Yeah.
still feels like Ninja Gaiden.
It
So I'm
feels
like,
it. Yep. Yep.
if you change the name, you'll be like, wait a minute, this is a Ninja Gaiden game. Why aren't they calling it a Ninja Gaiden? Like
Mhm.
maybe the four is what's messing people up. I'm not sure, but I'm like, I didn't think about that. I'm like, to me, it felt like a natural progression. But I will admit, it's also because I didn't like three, and this is just way, way better than it. So that helps. But no, I don't think. Like again, maybe you've seen some conversations. I haven't, but I'm like, yo, this is a straight up Ninja Gaiden game. You call it something else. I would have been like, why are these developers ripping off a Ninja Gaiden?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's,
Mhm.
it's Ninja Gaiden.
Well, this is the part where it's not a spoiler. Again, this is not a spoiler. I know the developers talked about this because people were asking, "Hey, we only seen previews of Yakumo. What happened to Hayabusa? Is he in the game?" Yes, he is in the game. You know, but here's a part where this might be controversial.
Uh-oh.
And again, the game is not. The game is phenomenal. I love this game. This is like up there with my favorite games I played this year. Just want to put it out there, right? And I know you mentioned that you will be okay if it was just Yakumo, not Hayabusa in the game, right? I feel the way how Hayabusa came into the story kind of killed the vibe a bit. I don't know. I think you brought it up too, Tony, right? So, like, I felt like it would have been better, in my opinion. You play with Yakumo the whole game, right? And then you unlock Hayabusa. You will see Hayabusa in the story, but like, imagine not being playable, and then when you finish the game, you go back and play Hayabusa's point of view, and you start from scratch, different enemies or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like that to me made more sense. But I think the way how he popped up in the story kind of killed the vibe because it was getting like really, really good at the game, right? And then he came, it was like not a pause, but I don't know, it was just like a weird vibe coming in the story, you know what I'm saying? So because he was like, you were like really, really far within the story, really, really far. You have like a lot of new weapons and a lot of those stuff, and then he comes in. And it's like I don't know, it's weird. But I want I want to get your opinion about this because you also brought this up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna mostly leave it for what you said because I don't want to spoil anything either. But
Yeah,
yes, I do agree that the way Hayabusa was integrated into the story, I felt could have been done better, or like you
agreed.
suggested,
Hmm.
have a separate one. Because to me, I'm like, wait, I just beat the game and I get to play another one. Like
Yeah,
that would be cool. I'm not comfortable saying more than that. Like you already
yeah,
know my thoughts, but yes, I agree. The way Hayabusa was introduced, don't get me wrong. I love me some Hayabusa. I'm glad he's in the game. I just felt it could have been done in a better way. And I think I'll leave it at that. Like, obviously, if you guys want to talk to us after you've played the game, hit us up and we'll, be happy to talk to you more about it. But
yeah,
yes, it could have been done better.
yeah. Now I know we brought up the bad, but the majority is good. Like this game is a must-have, and I'm glad that it's also coming out on other platforms because it's going to be on PC, Xbox, and also PS5. I hope it comes out on the Switch too in the future. Who knows? But this game is incredible. Like I enjoy the music, the gameplay, story. I really didn't get much into the story. I don't know. Maybe for you it was different. But I also love graphically. Let me tell you, plays in 120 frames per second. Oof, phenomenal. But this game looks really, really good on my ultra wide screen too. Like it's like, bro, it
Always
looks
gotta
fun.
tip that,
I, I
don't you?
I have to bring that up because it looks phenomenal in that, man. Really, really good, man. But yeah, man, like I really enjoy this. Like playing it remind me so much why I love games like Ninja Gaiden and Bayonetta and other games like that. I would like to see more of that in the future, man. Because I really like playing this. I could tell, like, man, I miss this, man.
Yeah.
It's
Same
been a
here, bro.
long time. Been a long, long time.
Yo, you bring this up because the game's obviously on different platforms. And this is such proof that the console war's dead. I'm playing
Hmm.
this on PS5. What is the first thing I see when I boot it up? The very first thing, Xbox Studios, big
Hmm.
green bold letters. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is done. The whole thing is done. Yeah, but
Yeah,
no,
pretty much. Yeah,
and I specifically, I'm like, I want this on PS5. Like, I want to kind of prove a point. I mean, and even now we have Microsoft Flight Simulator on PS5, so it's like, okay, guys, this is done. But no, I agree with you. Real quick on the story, I'm not going to get into it, but I kind of agree with you. The story is kind of there just to get you to the next action scene. But with these games, I'm not there for the story. I just want to just hack stuff up.
same,
So,
same.
which is fine.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna get too into it, but the voice acting for not Yakumo was good, but not really the voice acting that I had a problem with. Some of the dialogue I felt was kind of cheesy. For some of the characters, it felt like they were like it was too. I know this is like not it's set in the past or anything, set in the future, but it just felt like too modern Twitter-ish kind of dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about that. There's one character specific, one of the new ones. The way she talks, I didn't like it until the end of the game. Then it got better. But I'm like, I don't know about that. But Yakumo was even when some kind of like goofy dialogue was going around, my man Yakumo was always there, like in the center. He was always good.
Hmm.
But other than that, again, the story it served its purpose. It just got you to one place or another to kill stuff, and so that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you about the dialogue. And I know you have an option. You have an option to put this in Japanese, so I didn't do that. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure.
neither did I.
But I'm glad that you brought up that you played this on the PS5. Was this something that you wanted from the beginning? Because I thought you played this on PC, but you wanted to play on the PS5 from the
Yeah, I
beginning?
wanted to play on PS5 because I knew this game was like optimized for PS5 Pro specifically. So on
Mhm.
PS5 Pro, you have two modes that are for that console. There's the they call it the pro mode, which is 60 frames a second with all the graphical bells and whistles. And then there's also 120 FPS mode. Doesn't have like all the graphical stuff going on, but you do get to play at a higher frame rate to match your refresh rate of your television. I tried both. I liked 60 frames with all the graphics, the ray tracing and all that. Yeah, because again, since this is an quote unquote an Xbox game, I wanted to play it on PS5, see what was up, specifically on the PS5 Pro. And I will say it is because not I'm not trying to drag on PlayStation here, but I mostly been kind of disappointed with the PS5 Pro. It hasn't really delivered the goods in terms of like making games look its best. But I think with this game, like I'm not gonna say it's a night and day difference, but I think this game helps take better advantage of the Pro than some other games do because like the only time the frame rate would go down is during cutscenes, which is strange, isn't it? It's like the whole
Mhm.
game is like 60 frames, and then the cutscenes, even when you're playing it go because they're like pre-recorded, so they're just 30 frames. I wish they would stop doing that. But other than that, I thought it looked great and ran great on PS5.
Was there any features for the DualSense also? Because I remember playing Gears of War Reloaded on PS5. It was really cool playing it. Like the you could feel like the triggers is different than playing the Xbox console version, and also the sound effects. It was like conversation walkie-talkie will pop only on the controller, and it was not on the TV. So was there any from the PS5 version? Was there anything like that from the DualSense
No,
controller
it
or
was
no?
pretty standard stuff. You get your rumble. Some stuff does come out of the speakers, but there's nothing like, if you use a specific weapon, you gotta like press this trigger harder. There wasn't anything like that. I will say though, like
Mhm.
this game will kill your battery. Like every time I finish playing it, because there's so much rumble, so much stuff going on. But now that I think about it, you're right. I wish they would have incorporated more dual sense features, but there really are none. That like maybe I missed it, but like, yeah, they like
Interesting.
how, for example, if you're playing Call of Duty and stuff and you're using specific guns, like each gun has a specific feel when you hold the trigger down. There's really nothing like that I noticed. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't nothing like usually if you're playing Astrobot, like, whoa, there's all this crazy stuff going on. But with this one, not so much. But it
Mhm.
didn't really detract from my enjoyment.
I think that would have been cool with the different weapons, right? Like you could
I think
feel
so.
some of them are heavy, some of them are not, based on okay, cool. No, it's good to know. Good to know. Um another thing that I didn't bother to use that much was when you're playing Yakumo and you're running around, sometimes you meet this blackbird and like I think it's like a little house where
Yeah.
they sell. It's like a vendor. Think of it like you will buy stuff for your character in there. The one with the bird, that character unlocks like new. It shows you like different type of moves that you could do in the game, and you also could have different conversation on whatever's happening at the moment with the story. You talk to them. And that's more for like if you want to like get unlock new dialogue. You don't have to do that at all. You could just skip it. But I didn't really, and let me see if it's the same with you. After a while, I didn't even bother going to the Blackbird. I was like, let me go to the vendor. Let me buy some stuff like to heal myself, get better potions and all that stuff, and then keep it moving. I didn't really bother training, doing that stuff. Did you bother doing that at all, or no?
Nah, because I wanted to keep going just like you.
Yeah,
Like because you're right. You do get to a point where you've purchased every unlock that the Blackbird has. I
yeah,
would still suggest people go to the Blackbird at least one time for every level because you will unlock things like more like inventory slots because you could have like I think they're called charms in the game where it's like, oh, this charm gives you more attack power. This charm gives you more healing, but you
hmm
do get to a point where you don't need to visit them anymore. It's just like if you want to the dialogue to go on. But yeah, the little house that you go to, there's a proper name for this thing. We just don't know
I
what it
just
is.
can't remember some of the head
Yeah,
right now.
but no, because
Yeah,
again, this game is very difficult. I was always constantly buying like health stuff,
same, same. Hmm.
But yeah, the little dialogue that they provide, it's not really important, like you say, but it's nice that it's there. But you're right, you do get to a point where you don't need to visit the Raven too much. Although I do like how the Raven's eyes are like red and they glow and stuff. Like you know where
Hmm.
it is.
hmm Now, another thing that I have to bring up, man, is also there's so much blood in this game. Oh my
Hmm.
god, more than two. 'Cause two was bloody. This thing, put it this way, it's so much blood in this game that even Yakumo, your character, when they show like a cutscene or whatever, he's like, you run around with blood on your suit. Like it's like a lot. so what'd you thought about that? Like seeing that, because it wasn't. I remember the back in the days, you see the blood and it will go away. This thing is like stuck to your character the whole time. The whole time.
Yeah. No, again, because I love blood and gore. I love that stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, give me more of it. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be very careful about it because I also like how you will go through a level, right, and you kill a bunch of enemies, and then later on you'll revisit that level again. The blood is still on the floor and on the walls and everything. I'm like,
Yo, I didn't even
yo,
notice about that.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, so it's like, yo, this game remembers it, and you're right, but it is kind of funny. It's like there may be a scene that's a little bit more intimate, like but Yakumo's covered in
It's like
blood.
he's like having a serious conversation. He's blooded. What the heck?
And I'm like, yo, I don't even know what color your outfit is. I'm guessing it's red because
Yeah.
it is black, obviously, but it's like he like to you, if you didn't know, you're like, oh, he's a red ninja. No, that's just blood all over him.
Mhm. And Tony, anything else you want to bring up too that you haven't talked about yet?
I think I pretty much covered everything. Again, my main thing is like I'm really glad to have these type of games again, and think about it. Danny, we actually got 3 Ninja Gaiden games this year, right? Because we got 2 brand new ones, this one, and then we got Ninja Gaiden 2 back.
Ninja Gaiden 2,
I
yep.
really think when Ninja Gaiden 2 was re-released, it really set the stage for this one, But yeah, if you miss these type of games, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, all that, definitely give this one a shot. It's great. It's gonna be very challenging, but in a fair way.
Mhm.
And and also if you're tired of these games that are just 50,000 hours long, that take forever, you could beat this in a weekend. It's all good. And I love it, man. And also, again, it's just wild. I'm playing this on my PS5. First thing I see is Xbox, so that's kind of interesting too.
I'm already used to it. I already seen multiple games already on PS5.
Oh, and there's gonna be more coming.
And there's gonna be
I
more
also
coming.
wanna test this on like the ROG Ally, the
Yeah,
Xbox Ally.
that's something that I really want to check out, the PC version, to see how that's gonna play on the Ally, if I get it, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's
Um,
other things I want to say, but obviously no spoilers. But
no
the game is great,
spoilers,
man.
no
No, the
spoilers, no
game is
spoilers.
great.
I was gonna ask you, who do you think will win a battle between Yakumo Hayabusa?
Um, no spoilers, obviously.
No spoilers, no spoilers. But like, let's say separate life, whatever. They get together and they fight for the first time, like whatever.
For the first time,
Yeah,
I think,
that has nothing to do with the game. Ninja Gaiden 4, nothing to do with the
yeah,
game. That
I,
based
I,
on based on the styles.
Yeah, I think okay, so Hayabusa has the edge in terms of like experience, but Yakumo has the edge in terms of weapons, right? So like it might be one of those things where they fight, and then you don't get to see who the winner is. Oh
Yeah,
man, so yeah, I can't really answer. That's a tough one.
that's a tough one. Yeah, because that's the thing people are gonna bring up. Man, I like Hayabusa better, or I like Yakumo better. And to me, it all depends on your style, man. Like,
Yeah,
do you like fast pace? What type of weapons do you like? Because there's weapons that Yakumo has that Hayabusa doesn't have. So, but Hayabusa is a little bit slower but stronger, way
yeah.
way more powerful than Yakumo. So that's why I brought it up. Like, hey, what you think? Who do you think will win in a battle? Just randomly, you
Yeah.
know.
But
So
since you asked, and this is a question I want to ask to the fans since it is the year of the ninja, right? Like
mhm.
who is your favorite video game ninja? Ryu Hayabusa, right? From Ninja Gaiden, or Joe Higashi from Shinobi? I want
Ooh,
to hear
that's
people's
a
thoughts.
man. That's a great question. For me, I think Ninja Gaiden. They both have a place in my heart, both of them, a special place in my heart, right? But I think Ninja Gaiden was the one that connected first, and I'll never forget playing the original games on NES, and then fast forward from the original Xbox playing Ninja Gaiden. Like, bro, I remember it took me forever just to beat that first boss because it was
Oh yeah.
so tough. But once you beat him, like, oh man, this is amazing. And then beating the game, mind blowing. you know. So I think I'll go with Ninja Gaiden,
Yeah,
Hayabusa.
not to copy you, but I'm gonna go with Hayabusa too. And I think it's just because I've played with Hayabusa in more games than like Higashi, right? Like,
Mhm,
not only do we have like the Ninja Gaiden games, but Dead or Alive. He was one of my favorite characters in the Dead or Alive games. That's why
mhm,
I always like a lot of people just call him Ryu, right? But I always call him Hayabusa because that's what his name said in his life bar in Dead or Alive.
mhm.
But I've just had more experience with him. But I will say I am glad Joe Higashi is back because
It's been a
Shinobi
while.
Art of Vengeance is great.
It is
But
great. It is
yeah,
great.
man.
Now I was gonna ask you, 'cause I forgot to ask you this question. What you thought about the enemies in the game?
Oh
The
yes.
and
Um
the bosses separately.
Yeah, I think so. The enemies, they were mostly pretty good. I think now that I'm thinking about it, the variety probably could have been a little bit better and this is not a problem with just this game. This happens with every fighting game or action game where it's like you kind of start seeing the same enemies over and over and over again, so it gets a little repetitious.
Mhm,
But the highlight is the bosses. Every boss is very unique to each other. They will definitely challenge you. That's where you really got to start mixing it up with the weapons, I feel. And
mhm,
also look at the prompts. Like, for example, you could use like the wind to glide a little bit or whatever. Because you're gonna want to stay out of the way. And I like how the bosses really teach you how to play the game, or not excuse me, not teach, they force you how to play the game correctly because they're crazy. But yeah, the regular enemies, some of them could be pretty tough, I think, but once you kind of get the feel for them, like it's fine. Although when they throw like 10 at you, that's when it's like, yo, keep moving, bro, you're gonna get messed up. But what would you think of the enemy variety in this game?
no, I agree with you about that part where you could tell, like, okay, it's getting a little bit repetitive, but there's a lot of new enemies that pop up too in the game, like just regular enemies later in the game. You'll see some new ones there. Bosses, bro, they're a totally. I mean, that's the highlight of any Ninja Gaiden game is the
Yeah.
bosses. The bosses is was really really cool, man. Even the first boss, I'm like, yo, if this is the first, I can imagine later in the game. So yeah, I think that was the highlight for me. Bosses, but enemies, regular, that was a little challenging. I mean, I haven't tried Master Ninja. Have you tried that
I
that
haven't
hard
tried it
level?
yet, you know.
Bro, I'm a little nervous because I know it's gonna be hard. I know it's gonna be hard. But yeah, people should definitely check it out. And I was also curious to see, how people were doing. Like every time you finish a level and you beat the boss,
Yeah.
I will always check out the leaderboards. I don't know if you even bothered to see.
I haven't checked that out. I should do that.
You should do that because it's interesting. Because I'm like, I'm curious, like how fast are people are killing these bosses. Especially when you go to the trials.
Yeah.
The trials, all you do there is just fight the bosses. That's it. You pick Hayabusa or Yakumo, and in there after you finish it, it will tell you how long how long it took people to beat that boss. So it is interesting seeing that.
Yeah, I gotta do more of the trials because I mostly just stuck to the main game, because obviously we got the embargo coming, at the
Mhm.
time of recording. So I didn't get to try that, but I feel like if you really want to challenge yourself, you gotta check out those trials. I tried one or two of them, like, yo, this is crazy. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
glad they're in there. Like you said, you get the fuller like package because of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, like that's the thing that I loved about Ninja Gaiden Black and also Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. The reason is difficulty and also checking out the leaderboards. Like you want to compete. It reminds me of like when you play a game like Geometry Wars, you beat it and you want to see like how other people are doing, like from your friend list and all that, and so that you could compete. That's the part that I love about so much about Ninja Gaiden 4 is that that's already included in there. And honestly speaking, if you're paying full price for the PS5 version or you download this on Game Pass, yo, just don't play just the story. You got to try out everything, like the training mode, try out the trials, change the difficulty, like take advantage of everything that's in the game. If
Yeah.
you really, really want to enjoy Ninja Gaiden, and of course, do the story, of course, but that's why I always bring that up. Like that was like the huge, huge highlight for me was Ninja Gaiden 2 and 1 was that in there, that was
Oh.
included in there after the game release. So
Yeah, it'll be
yeah.
interesting to see the leaderboards after the fact because obviously right now you and I only see like the people who got the the review copy. So it'll be interesting to see once the regular like
Mhm.
right now, obviously you guys are all playing it. So it'll be cool to see how the leaderboards change after that.
Well, I'll tell you this. I played I think I beat the first 3 bosses on trials, and I think boss 2 or 3, it was one of those 2, where I checked the leaderboard, I think I was, like, number 9, I was like, "Yo,
That's what's up.
that's not bad," you know?
Top
But I
10.
kn but let me tell you, I know people that played Ninja Gaiden Black, the original one, bro, they were, like, top of the world for, like, a couple days, I'm like, "Bro, that's not easy to do." But it feels good seeing that, you know? Like, I love leaderboards, I think there's a lot of games don't have that in there anymore. Like I think people are just worried so much about like ranks but leaderboards reminded me that's the thing that we grew up back in the day, seeing like the
Arcades, yeah.
arcades, leaderboards, and that's how, believe it or not, that's how achievements and trophies got created.
Yep.
Because people will be in the top 10 of the leaderboard and using the arcade. They will take the picture, send it to the studio, and the studio will send them like a very unique patch for you. It's like and they consider it as an achievement, So I would love to see more games adding leaderboards in the future like that, instead of
That's
not
dope.
having it. Yeah. Just want to bring that up. But Tony, man, thank you so much for reviewing the last game of the year of the Ninja Gaiden
Yes.
2. Ninja Gaiden 4, I mean. Thank you so much, man, for joining, man. Anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, no, as always, thank you for asking me. Like when you asked me, like, "Yo, you want to do this, record this, review of this game?" I'm like, I didn't hesitate. I'm like, "Yo, let's do it, bro."
Yeah.
Because we had
I'm
so
very
much fun with the
selective.
last one. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm very selective with the game. Like, I was like, yo, I know me and Tony will spend like an hour talking about this. I gotta bring him on. Like I'm very selective on what type of games. Not every game, but this
yeah,
was like special because we have a lot of history with Ninja Gaiden and also Shinobi and all these other games. That I'm like, and Streets of Rage. That I'm like, no, Tony have to be here.
yeah. I appreciate that. And then obviously we talked about Itagaki too. We had to do that because this game is part of his legacy. So it all
Right.
kind of came together. But yeah, again, just thank you so much, man. Like this was a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure the fans will enjoy it as much as we did talking.
That now, and I think to end it on this note, what you think Adagaki would have thought about this game?
Ooh, that's a good question because Itagaki he liked talking smack, so I don't know like if he would have liked it or not. I would hope he would have because it really is objectively a really good game. Like I would like to think that he'd be like, "Hey, these guys they got it right," because I don't I haven't read his interview, so I'm pretty sure he didn't like 3, right? So I would like to believe that he would enjoy this one or at least appreciate what they were trying to do because in my opinion, it
Mhm.
honors not only the legacy of the Ninja Gaiden series, but also Itagaki's legacy as a game developer?
I wonder if he would have liked Yakumo though.
That's a good question.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. All right, everyone. But thank you so much for listening or watching the review of Ninja Gaiden 4. Tony, make sure everyone check out Tony's podcast, The Rodan Show. You want to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so into the conversation. I forgot I got to plug my stuff.
Plug. Plug your stuff,
Yeah.
man.
So yes, you can check me out on the Throwdown Show podcast. We go live on Twitch and YouTube every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. That's Throwdown Show, 2 words.
Awesome.
Obviously, we will be talking about Ninja Gaiden 4, and also please check out tomsguide.com, not only for my work, but all the work that my colleagues do. And also, please subscribe to the Tom's Guide YouTube channel. Like, I'm the handheld guy there. Like, if there's a new handheld, I'm talking about it. I got my review of the Xbox RG Ally there, got my review of the Legion Go. We also did a really cool, like, kind of mini series called handheld like takedown where it's like
Oh,
we started with 8 and then whittled it down until we got a winner, so go check that out.
nice.
And again, Danny, thanks for having me on, but this was a blast, bro.
Hey man, you're a legend, bro. You're a legend in this, man. No, everyone, thank you so much. Make sure to head over to gamertagradio.com. And first of all, I have a personal YouTube channel where I post my stuff in there, especially my interviews, because I know people have been asking, hey, why we don't see videos of like this on the Gamertag Radio YouTube channel. And I'm like, that channel is more for like the audio side, because we connected with our podcasting hosts, gets all the stats from like Spotify, everywhere plus YouTube. So that's what we have right there. But separately, we have Twitch, we have my personal channel, Danny Peña, and also Paris has his personal channel there too, where he also create content. Sometimes we'll do it together for Gamer Tech Radio. He'll put it on his channel. So make sure subscribe there too, man. So I just want to bring that up because people have been asking the same question over and over. I'm like, no, this is not it. So but that's about it. Everyone, thank you so much. And we'll be back here. Remember, I have a couple surprises coming up. Couple surprises and more reviews very, very soon. So stay tuned. All right. Until next time, we're out. Bye.
Peace.